Our first lesson in 8th grade math is really how to convert numbers. And you've already learned this since 6th grade. You know how to change a fraction to a decimal to a percent, yes? But today we're going to learn how to do it in our calculator so that we don't have to do it by hand. Okay? So before we get started, let's go over some basic vocabulary that you should already know. You should already know what a rational number is because you learned it in 7th grade. A rational number is any number that can be written as a fraction. Can a whole number be written as a fraction? Yes, it can. What would you do? If I want to take a whole number like 5, and I want to make it as a fraction, but don't change its value, I can put it over 1. What's 5 over 1? 5. So I can take whole numbers and make them into fractions as well. That's why they're rational. So rational numbers are any numbers that can be made into a fraction. Okay? What is a terminating decimal? Y'all know what a terminator is, right? Something that stops something. So a terminating decimal is it's always rational, but they're decimals that have a stopping point. Have y'all ever seen the movie Terminator? It's kind of old. Okay, he goes and stops the bad guys. Okay, so a terminating decimal has a stopping point. An example is 25 cents. It stops after the 5. Okay, it's always rational. Repeating decimals. Y'all know what it means to repeat, right? Just keeps repeating, like it keeps going. Okay, a repeating decimal is always rational. There are decimals that have multiple digits or one digit that repeat, like 0.333333 or 0.12121212. It like keeps repeating. They are always rational, meaning these can all be made into a fraction. Okay? Now, this is new vocabulary that you did not learn in 7th grade, and it's called irrational. We're going to learn more of that next week. But an irrational number is a number that cannot be written as a fraction. So that's the only new word that you're learning today, and we're not even going to use them today. Just wanted to introduce them to y'all. Okay? Now, let's go on to what you already know from 6th and 7th grade. Without looking at your notes, okay? Don't look at your notes because this is all about calculator. How to turn a fraction to a decimal from 7th grade. So if I have 1/2, what did Miss Perry and Miss Pay and Mrs.
150.
But how? What'd you do? You divided it, right? What did they teach y'all? Cowboy over horse, top in, bottom out. What was it? Top in, bottom out. So you would just go like this, right? You don't have to do that anymore. The calculator's going to do it for you. Did everybody hear what I just said? I don't want you to forget how to do it because that's something you kind of just need to know in life, but you don't have to know how to do it anymore. It says, how do you change a fraction to decimal in your calculator? There's 2 ways. Number 1, you can just divide because that's what they taught you in 6th and 7th grade. So I could go to my calculator. If y'all want, turn your calculators on. And I could say, hey, I want to make 1/2 into a decimal. Well, what is 1 divided by 2? 0.5. So that's one way I can do it, is simply divide. Because that's the way we've been taught since 6th grade. Is everybody's calculator working? Is everybody okay? We're good? Did some of y'all get like 0.50? Because your calculator's in rounding mode. So let's do something real quick. Let's reset our calculator. You got to listen or you won't follow, okay? Everybody ready? I want you to hit second, the blue button, plus, hit second, plus, and then I want you to hit the numbers. Don't scroll. Hit the numbers 712. So hit 712. And it should look like my screen. I'm going to say it again. I want you to hit second plus 712. Does your screen look like mine? Yes or no? Raise your hand if you need help. I got it. Okay. Everybody, anybody else need me? second plus 712. What we just did is reset our calculators so they'll all look the same. Okay? Good, you're good. Okay, once your screen looks like mine, it might look slightly different because I have the CE addition calculator, but it should just say RAM cleared. Just hit clear. Now let's do it again. If you want to make 1/2 into a fraction, do 1 divided by 2, and everybody should get 0.5. Now, why did some people's calculators say 0.50? Because it's the same place value. Okay? 0.5 is the same thing as 50 cents. Y'all know that, right? Yes? That's why some people's calculators said that. Okay? It's the same thing. All right, now let's learn it. Let's learn how to do it the way I'm going to teach you. Okay? Right here, where's my highlighter? You're going to hear me say this all year. Alpha y equals. Alpha y equals is a shortcut on updated calculators that allows you to enter a fraction. And y'all learned this on your scavenger hunt. Did we do our scavenger hunt yesterday? We did. Because did we have the fire drill in here? Okay. So y'all didn't get to really see it. So you're going to get to see it today. Okay? Alpha y equals. Now, you cannot push and hold alpha. I saw that a lot yesterday. People were trying to push and hold. You're simply going to hit the green button alpha, push it 1 time, and then push the y equals button. Now, these calculators are updated, but they are kind of old, like we've had them for over 5 years. So some of the buttons have probably rubbed off. So I'm going to show y'all where they are in case your calculator doesn't have it. So everybody look. The green button is alpha, so you push it 1 time. And then the y equals button is the top left button. Even if it's rubbed off, that's where it is. So you push it 1 time, and this screen will pop up. Raise your hand or ask your neighbor if that screen did not pop up. Are we okay? Again, you're going to hit alpha y equals. Now, I want to show y'all. Y'all leave your screens alone. What if I accidentally forget to hit alpha and I just hit y equals? This screen's going to pop up and you can't clear out. Watch. Clear. It's not getting me out of there. Do y'all see that? To get out of a screen, you're going to have to quit. So does everybody see mode? What does it say right above it in blue? Quit. How are you going to access anything in blue? You're going to hit the blue button first and then hit that. So if I hit second mode, it'll take me back to my home screen. So if you ever get locked in a screen and you're like, I can't get out, it's not clearing, second quit, second mode. Okay, and if you forget, just ask me. But you'll remember in a week or so, okay? All right, so alpha y equals. Hit clear. Let's do it again. Clear your screen. Okay, what am I going to push to get a fraction? I just said it. What am I going to push to get a fraction? Alpha, green button, 1 time. Y equals 1 time. Option 1 is for a basic fraction. A numerator over a denominator. Option 2 is for a mixed fraction, like 2 and 1/3. Make sense? Yes? So you just have to decide which one you need. So let's look at our notes. It wants us to change. Let's just do 1/2. So choose option 1, and 2 boxes pop up. Yes? Mm-hmm. Now put in 1/2. So put in 1. How am I going to get to the bottom? Push the down button, right? Right here. Put in 2. Now this is super important. Everybody look. Where's my cursor? It's at the bottom with the 2. Does that make sense? How am I going to get my cursor out of there? Press the arrow to the side. So arrow out. And now I have put in the fraction 1/2. If you push enter, your calculator's like, okay, 1/2. Watch, it's not going to do anything. Hit enter. Calculator's like, cool, you put in a half. So we have to tell it what we want it to do. We want to make this number into a what? Decimal. Yes? So right here on your notes, it tells you what to do. It says once you have entered your number, hit math. So there's a button right under alpha called math. Do y'all see it? You're going to hit math. Which option do you think we're going to pick? It already is a fraction. What do we want it to be? So we're going to choose option 2. And look what your calculator says. Oh, okay, you want to take that number and make it into a decimal. To say yes, that's correct, hit enter. What is 1/2 as a decimal? 0.5. What is it also? 0.5. Give me more. 0.5. 0. Right? It's the same thing, guys. We got to know our place value in here, okay? All right, so you're going to try these at the bottom on your own. Now, some of them are really long. So what does it say? If you need to round to the nearest hundredth. Y'all remember your place values. We'll go over it, okay? So right here, if I have 2.3145, what place value is this? Do I have $10 there? Do I have, how much do I have? Come on, guys, y'all know money. How much money do I have right here? Two what? $2. So I have two, like I have two what? How do you have $2? How would you, like, what would they look like? Are they 10s? Are they 20s? What kind of bills are they? Ones. They're ones. This is the ones place value. You can only have 2 ones. Are we okay? How much money would I have right here? That's not 3 cents. No, guys, this is $2. I'm only looking right here. I would have 30 cents. That's 3/10. So tenths place. We got a problem if we don't know our place value. This is 3rd grade. Okay, right here is called the hundredths. Let me write sideways. And then this is the thousands. Y'all don't even need to go past that. You need to know your place value. If I add a number over here, what would that be? Like if I add a 3. That's my tens, because I would have 3 $10 bills for 30. Yes? That's my tens. So tens, ones, tenths. That's why that's not 3 pennies. That's 30 pennies. Okay? Does everybody understand? So if I'm rounding to the hundredths place, that means I'll stop right here. I'll look to this one. If it's 5 or more, raise the score. 4 or less, let it rest. So would I round this to a 2 or would I keep it a 1? Keep it a 1 because this is 4 or less. Okay? All right, let's go do 2/5. I'll do one with you and then I'm going to have you do the next one on your own. Who remembers the buttons I'm going to push? I want to hear, you're doing awesome. I want to hear everybody tell me.
That's my jump start 8th grade summer school.
She's all over it. Alpha y equals. So alpha y equals. Now what do I push? What does this look like? Which one do I want? Option 1 or 2?
1.
Why? Because I only need to put in a numerator and a denominator. So number on top and number on bottom. I'm going to type in 2/5. So I got to put 2 on top and then arrow down, put 5 on bottom. I cannot leave my cursor there. It won't work. So I have to do what? I have to arrow out of there. Okay, now I can hit what button to tell it to make it a decimal? Math. So push math. Which option for decimal? 2. And now what? Enter. And there's your answer. How much money is that? Y'all better think about that place value before you answer.
struck me out.
It's in the tenths place, so it is not 4 pennies. It's not in the hundreds.
40.
That is 40 cents. Does everybody agree? So you could write 0.4, or you could write 0.40. They are the same thing. Does everybody understand that? Again, that's 3rd grade. I need y'all to get that in your souls deep down. Okay? So I'm going to write 0.4. If money makes you feel better, add that 0. 40 cents. But it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. Now I want you to do this one on your own.
Raise your hand if you need help.
Guys, this one's going to be a crazy long decimal. You're not going to write the whole thing. Okay? I want you to round it to the hundreds place. That means make it look like money. 2 numbers after the decimal.
Yeah, but the 3rd number is 8, so remember 5 or more of the score. So you need to up that 1 time.
Did everybody get this far? Okay, once I hit enter, it's a crazy decimal, right? It's a crazy decimal. Guys, in money stops right there. Make sense? So it's either 42 cents or 43 cents. To decide, I look to the number to the right. If it's 5 or more, I raise this up. Make sense? And that's how the banks do it too. Okay, like when you've got a lot of money going on, they're going to round that hundreds place up or keep it the same. So this is how much money if I round. If I round, 43 cents. Yes. Did I have to write the 0 in the ones place? No, but can I? Yes, because there's $0 in the ones place. So if you don't put it there, everybody just knows, hey, you have $0 bills in your hand, but you have 43 pennies or a quarter and some dimes and some pennies. Make sense? Okay, so on the next one, you're still going to do alpha y equals. She had a question, Miss Perry. But instead of option 1, you're going to use option 2 because what kind of fraction is this? It's a mixed fraction. So question, real quick, everybody stop. How much money is this? And don't just, how much, do I have any dollar bills in my hands? I have $2 bills in my hand. What would this represent? The change. Right, some of y'all already know how much change it is, but if you don't know, just know that fraction's the change. Okay? So this is $2 and some change. You're going to change the change into that 25 cents. So go put it in your calculator and you'll see it. Yeah. And guys, please ask questions. Do not let us leave you. If you're lost, and it's okay to ask your neighbor too. Okay, but don't let us leave you. Okay, so let's look at what y'all did. Y'all did alpha y equals. Everybody got this far? Yes? Option 2, I put in 2 and 1/4. Now question, boys, what do I have to do before I do anything? Get out of it, right? Arrow out. Now what do I hit? Math, decimal, enter. How much money do I have? Okay, tell me, again, I know we already went over it. How many dollar bills am I holding? I got $2 bills and I got a quarter, 25 cents. Okay? All right, let's do the last one. Here we go. What buttons do I push? Alpha y equals. Which option for this one? Option 2. Now, before we start, I want y'all to stop and look at the board. Just looking at this number, how many dollar bills do I have in my hand? 10. I got $10 bills. And what does this represent? You don't have to know how much. It represents the change. The quarters, the nickels, the dimes, whatever it is. Do y'all understand money, right? Okay, let's go put it in. 10 and 2/3. What do I have to do before I do anything? Get out. I got to arrow out first. Watch what happens, guys. I want to show y'all, like, pretend I mess up. Everybody look. Everybody look. I am under the fraction still, yes? If I hit math, decimal, look where it put it. Do y'all see how it put it under that fraction? The calculator's going to not know what the heck I'm trying to do. I hit enter. It says error. Like, what are you trying to do? Okay? That's why you have to arrow out. Okay? So I'm going to show y'all again. Alpha y equals 10 and 2/3, arrow out. Now math, decimal, enter. Now, let's talk about money again. How many dollar bills do I have? 10. And I have some change. Where does money stop? The second number after the decimal. So it is either 66 cents or 67. I look to the next number. If this is 5 or more, then this goes up to a 7. So is it 66 or 67? 67. Very good. All right, how do y'all feel about changing fractions to decimals in your calculator? Can y'all do it without me? Okay, flip to the back. Now we're going to talk about square roots. A square root, you've already learned this in 6th and 7th grade. A square root is a sign that looks like this. And I have a lot of students that think a square root and square are the same thing. They're actually opposites. Okay, so everybody look. That is called square. And this is called square root. They are opposites. You know what the opposite of add is? Subtract. The opposite of multiply is? The opposite of square is square root. Why? I'll show you. This does not mean 4 times 2.
It means 4 times 4.
It means 4 times itself 2 times. 4 times 4. And 4 times 4 is 16. Are we good? The square root of 16 means what number times itself is 16? 4. Because 4 times 4 is?
16.
Do you see how they're opposites of each other? Yes or no? Okay, so if you look in your calculator, right here is the square button. So everybody put in 4. Just put in 4. And then hit the squared button right here. That means 4 times 4. And if you hit enter, it's going to tell you it's 16. Now if you want the opposite of square, look right above it in blue. Do y'all see it? That's your square root button. How am I going to access anything in blue? Hit second. So I hit second squared. That's my square root. Put in 16. And it's 4. Because 4 times 4 is 16. Are we okay? Now, a lot of squares are perfect squares. Like 4, 9, 16, 25. Meaning when I square root those numbers, they give me a whole number. But a lot of them are not perfect squares. They're crazy answers. Put in the square root of 26, and you're going to get a crazy answer. The square root, so second square, put in 26. See how it gives you a crazy decimal? So on those, you're going to have to round to the hundredths place. Okay? A lot of them are perfect. They're called perfect squares. That means like they're going to give you a perfect whole number, and a lot of them aren't. Okay, so let's go practice putting in some square roots right here. You try it. It says find the 2 square roots of each number, round to the nearest hundredth. which I'm going to explain the two answers. You just find one right now. What is the square root of 2? Did y'all do it? Would I write that whole thing? That's too much to write. So I go to the second number, right, like this, and it's either going to be 41 or 42. I look to the right. Is it 5 or more or 4 or less? So I let it rest. So I keep it.
41.
So 1.41. All right, what's the square root of 25? Y'all should know that one. 5 times 5 is 25. But put it in just so in case. Square root of 25 is 5. And then do this one on your own. Do we have to round this one? Yeah. So I go like this, I cover it up, I say, okay, it's either going to be 48 or I got to round it up to 49. I look to the right, am I going to leave it an 8 or round it up? Leave it an 8, 7.48. Now, why in the world did the directions say find the 2 square roots? There's only one answer, right? There's actually 2. And it's actually easier than you think. Okay. What number times itself is 25? 5. There's another number times itself that's 25 as well. What did y'all learn about negatives? A negative times a negative is a
Positive.
So would negative 5 times negative 5 give me 25? Yes or no? Yeah. So the 2 answers are 5 and negative 5. Okay, it's the positive and the negative answer. So when it says what are the 2 answers, I would say 1.41 and negative 1.41, 5 and negative 5, 7.48 and negative 7.48.
Same thing. but
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing with a different sign.
Yes. All right, the last thing you're going to learn today, and I am doing a lot in one day because you already learned this in 6th and 7th grade. I'm just teaching it in the calculator, okay? The last thing we're going to learn is how do you change a percent to a decimal? Okay? Well, in 6th grade, did y'all learn Dr. Pepper? What? They didn't teach y'all Dr. Pepper?
They did, and I was shocked
That's my favorite way to do it.
in 6th grade.
Okay, well, I'll show y'all Dr. Pepper because I like Dr. Pepper and it makes sense.
Some people did. Some people did, though.
You'll remember it once I say it. Y'all just haven't heard it this way. Dr. Pepper says to go from a decimal to a percent, move it 2 places to the
Right.
to the right. Decimal to a percent. To go from a percent to a decimal, 2 places to the left. We just say Dr. Pepper so you know which way to go. So if I have 0.25, is that a decimal? Yes?
Yes.
To change it to a percent, I go 2 places to the right. 1, 2, that's 25%. Now, in my honest opinion, counting 2 decimal places is really easy. You should be able to do this by hand. Do you all agree?
Yep.
Okay. If you're good at this by hand, keep doing it by hand. But in the calculator, if you want to do it, you simply divide by 100. Why? Because when you move the decimal 2 places to the left, you're just dividing by 100. Okay, I'll explain. To change 25%, so everybody look, to change 25% to a decimal, what did we just say? We would move the decimal 2 places to the left, so it would go like this, 1, 2, and it would be 25 cents. Personally, that's how I do it. I don't use my calculator because I can count 2 places. Are y'all with me? But if you struggle with this, just put it over 100. So everybody look. What is 25 divided by 100? 25 divided by 100 is 25 cents. It moves the decimal for you 2 places to the left. Are y'all good? All right, let's do 2%. Okay, I'm going to do it the way y'all were taught in 6th and 7th grade. If I want to turn 2% to a decimal, I would move the decimal 2 places to the left. So I would go like this, 1, 2, and it would become 0.02. If I do it with the calculator, I simply put it over 100. So I would say, what's 2 over 100? So put it in your calculator. You can use alpha y equals, or you can do division. 2 over 100 is 0.02. Do you see how you get the same answer? You decide what's best for you. Do you want to use the calculator? Do you want to move the decimal 2 places? Okay, y'all try these on your own. If you're going to move the decimal, count 2 places to the left. If you're going to use the calculator, put it over 100. Quickly, you decide. Okay, if you did it the calculator way, you would simply take 5 and put it over 100. 5 over 100 is 0.05. How much money is that? 5 pennies, 5 cents. 0.05. What would go in the ones place? If I wanted to, I put a 0. All right, this one, if I want to use the calculator, I take this number, and I have students all the time. I say, hey, make that percent a decimal. They're like, oh, Miss Casher, it's already a decimal. Look at that decimal right there. No, it has a decimal. It's not a decimal. It has a what? It's got that percent sign. It's not a decimal. Okay, if it has a percent sign, it's a what? It's a percent. You've got to put it over 100 to get rid of the percent sign. So I say, okay, well, what is 25.2 over 100? So I go on my calculator. 0.252. Now, we're not going to round that. We're just going to leave it. 0.252. What could go in the ones place? A 0. Now, let me pass.
Does everybody have a sheet?
Okay, look at the first section on 1 through 12. What does it say? Write each fraction as a decimal. Then it says, if you need to, round to the nearest, what does that mean? Make it look like money. That means 2 decimal places, okay? Then it says, hint, use alpha y equals, match decimal enter. So I literally wrote exactly what to put in your calculator. Okay, go down to the next section. Everybody look. On 13 through 20, what does it want you to do? Change the percent to a, what does this say? Do not round. That means you're going to write exactly what the calculator says. Okay? Everybody mark this out because I didn't teach y'all mode today. Mark that out. How do we change a percent to a decimal? Put it over. So right here, say put the percent over 100. Now, you're not going to put a percent sign in your calculator. You're just going to take whatever the percent is, 3, put it over 100 and write your answer. Are we okay? I would like for y'all to try to get the front finished today. If you get to the back, you're changing a square root to a decimal, and it does say round to the nearest, and then it wants you to place it on a number line. That's why we put it in money form, because you know, like if the answer is 1.5, it's between $1 and $2, right? So it'd be like right here. If it's 3.2, it's between $3 and $4, closer to the 3. So that's what you'll do on the back. Okay? All right, you may get started. And remember that I check your work.